Hello and welcome to Thought for December the 27th. Our readings are Job chapter 37, Zechariah chapter 12 and Revelation chapter 14. And our thought is, look on him whom they have pierced. First we note that there are no less than 9 times the phrase on that day today occurs in just 15 verses in Zechariah chapter 12 through to the first 2 verses of chapter 13. We note the prelude to those pronouncements, thus declared the Lord who stretches out the heavens and founded the earth and formed the spirit of man within him. Chapter 12 verse 1. These words fascinated us in a way to announce the character of God, a declaration of his absolute almightiness as the originator of all that exists. It is the first on that day that has particularly captivated the attention of believers throughout our lifetime. On that day we read, I will make Jerusalem a heavy stone for all the peoples. All who lift it will surely hurt themselves, and all the nations of the earth will gather against it. Chapter 12 verse 3. Jerusalem was the centre of attention in the Middle East, attracting the attention of the whole world from when Israel became a nation again in 1948, after being dead since AD 70. The USA tried hard to lift the stone to solve the problem, the diplomatic headaches in early years, but made no real progress. The influences of Islamic countries have grown greater, and it now seems clear that someday, maybe soon, an explosion will occur. The next on that day is when God will strike every horse with panic and its rider with madness, we read in verse 4. Today men have invented a great variety of vehicles to replace the horse. They get around at great speed. What is this madness? We suspect it means total irrational behaviour, especially in the surrounding nations, in a situation which suddenly goes totally out of control. Now notice the declaration in the next verse. The inhabitants of Jerusalem have strength through the Lord of hosts their God. We are strongly inclined to believe this happens because of divine intervention when God pours out on Jerusalem a spirit of grace and pleas for mercy, so that when they look on me on whom they have pierced, they shall mourn, as we read in verse 10. This portrays the wonder of the return of Christ, with the Jews at last recognizing their Messiah. But chapter 13 verses 8 and 9 appear to indicate they first experience a traumatic time when God will refine them. There is an incredible turnaround of events as the Lord will go out and fight against those nations as when he fights on a day of battle. On that day his feet shall stand upon the Mount of Olives. Chapter 14 verse 4. This is where Jesus ascended from in Acts chapter 1 verses 9 to 12. But also on that day there shall be a fountain open for the inhabitants of Jerusalem to cleanse them from sin and uncleanness, we read in chapter 13 verse 1. And so the most momentous climax possible to human history is soon to happen. Will you be there on that day? We make the answer now. We make that answer by reading God's Word, the Bible. We know that that Word is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path.